can finalize whether you can do it or do you want to change something like that.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir, regarding education also, because
Okay.
I think everyone should get education. Yeah, at least
Okay.
primary education.
Okay, you mean to say primary education must be accessible to everybody.
Yes, sir.
And everybody must study at least up to the level of primary education, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So number 1 point, as I have mentioned earlier, is that our topic must be related to media.
Yes.
Or communication.
Okay.
So newspapers, TV, radio, internet, okay, public relations, advertising.
Yeah.
So how do you relate, for example, okay, primary education. So you have to link it to the media, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So tell me, what is the relationship between media, that is newspapers, radio, TV, something like that, and primary education?
Yes, sir.
And what you said, it is your opinion. Primary education must be available to all. This is your opinion.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So opinion is not topic. You can find out what others are thinking about primary education. That can be a topic for education students.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you have to think in terms of communication, mass communication, that is maybe elements of communication, what we call communicator, message, channel, receiver, something like that. Okay. Or,
yes,
for example, whatever you take, you can link it to the media, education and media. So you can, basically at least at your level, that is MA level, what you can do is there are 2 kinds of methods, easy. One is survey method, other is content analysis.
Yeah.
So survey method means you take information, data from people. Okay. So you will prepare a questionnaire, you will ask them based on that what they are thinking about particular issue. That is survey method. Second is content analysis. Content analysis means we study messages. Okay. Yeah. Messages in any particular medium, newspapers. Okay.
Yes.
So newspapers, how they are covering, that is what kind of coverage, what kind of space is given to a particular subject. That is what we call content analysis. Okay.
Okay.
So there is another student, I don't know, but whether she is attending first time or. So shall we discuss about survey research? Earlier we have stopped survey research in between. So either we can discuss about survey research or content analysis. Okay. So what do we do? Shall we discuss the process? That means steps involved in content analysis. How you select a topic, how you go about it, right? Yes.
Sir, as you were wish, sir. We are okay with
little bit
any
louder.
one
Yes. Have you thought about your topic?
Yeah. I am planning to do an artificial intelligence, sir.
Pardon?
Artificial intelligence.
Okay, right. What do you do?
How the people, ante I wanted to take students
What do
of
you
a
do?
college, sir, and
What
how
is your occupation?
I'm a doctor, sir.
Which doctor? Practicing doctor? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm psychiatrist, sir. We deal with intelligence.
Pardon?
I'm psychiatrist.
Okay. So you want
We
to
deal
do
with intelligence,
Okay. So you want
sir.
to do a
Are
study?
you able to hear me, sir?
Just maybe little bit you have this audio problem is there, maybe there on your side something, right? Okay. So anyway, so have you got any idea about survey research? You know, last class we have discussed something about survey.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yeah,
we will quickly go discuss about survey research, then talk about this content analysis, right?
Okay,
Okay.
sir. Okay. Yeah.
Sir,
Okay.
sir, hello.
Yes. Yes.
Sir, how is the topic about Parsi reduction in, reduce in Parsi population? We observe the population is coming down in Parsi religion. So
Okay. About population in India, right?
yeah, because we
So
see
right. Okay.
Tata also, he does not have children, and in the same way we see, because they are minting money, but their population is not growing, I observe.
Okay.
Hello?
As I said earlier,
Yeah.
or you must have read in your project guidelines, right?
Okay, sir. Yeah.
So it must be related to
Media.
media.
Okay.
So whatever you take the topic, you have to link it to media, communication, audience, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you tell me, how do you
Because
link it to?
even I think this matter is not related to media. Hello, sir.
Yes.
But when I discussed with Sujata ma'am, she was also telling that even there is a reduction in the population of Parsi family. So you can do that also. She said a word. So
how do you relate it? You have to relate it to. It must be related to media.
okay,
Or media related subjects, public relations, advertising. Okay.
Yeah.
Or for example, what you can do is how media related news are covered.
Okay.
How newspapers are writing about media as population.
Okay.
Okay. So for example, recently we have become the #1 country in terms of population, right? Okay.
We are in number 2. We came to number 1, sir.
Right. Now we are #1.
Oh.
So in this context, when we have become #1, how newspapers are writing, whether they are saying it is an advantage, disadvantages, what type of advantages, challenges, problems. Okay. So whether they are writing, taking all angles into consideration, right? So actually, what is content analysis? Content analysis, what you do is you compare social reality with media reality. One area of focus is social reality versus media reality. What is social reality? how the society is. Okay. For example, there is a problem concerned with 70% of the population, right? And whether newspapers are talking about those 70% population problems or 30% problems, okay? Other thing is, you have some, for example, if you take any health issue, right? So people have to take certain precautions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know. So about the precautions, whether the newspapers are writing about all the precautions or whether they are not at all talking about the precautions, right? For example, we have today the climate change, right? Climate change issue has become very, very important all over the world, right? So there are international bodies.
Sir, this is also can be taken as a topic, climate change.
Yes, you can change. You know, so have you understood the population content analysis problem?
Yes, sir.
So similarly, there are international agencies, right? So
Yeah.
they have taken a decision to reduce this climate problem, right? So there are 10, for example, let us say there are 10 steps to be taken by countries, right? So what you do, you take a newspaper, 1 or 2 newspapers, and you analyze the content, that is news published relating to climate change. So whether they are talking about all these 10 points, 10 steps, or only 1 or 2. Okay? Right?
Yes, sir.
Have you understood how to go about it? Right? Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
So just we will
Hello.
all right.
Yeah.
So anyway, so let me discuss about the steps involved in content analysis. Okay. So what is content analysis? It is a technique, right? It is a technique to analyze messages in media. What do we mean by analyze? You can count the messages, right? So for example, here message means, let us take news item, right? So news item. So on an average, in a particular period, maybe 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 1 year, how many news items are published? How many articles are published? That is one way. That is, you count only news items or articles, right? There is another way of counting it. You will measure it. What is the space given to a particular topic? Okay. For example, as we have discussed just now, there is a climate change problem, environmental news. So you can count number of news items, or you can measure the space given to environmental news in a newspaper. So this is simply content analysis. Right? Is it clear? So it can be environment news, it can be agriculture news, it can be atrocities on women, it can be education, agriculture, or whatever. Okay. So You can take a newspaper or TV channel, or for example, you can also discuss if you take maybe a website, right? So it is a objective study of manifest content in any mass media. Manifest means it must be visible. Okay. Is it clear? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what is content? It is nothing but you measure, you count the space given to a particular subject, issue, problem, right? So it is as simple as like that, right? So to do content analysis, what you have to do is, okay, first you have to decide about topic. So already I have explained how do you take topic. Topic must be very specific, right? Just 1 minute. So topic must be very specific, right? So you have to be specific about the terms you use. For example, if you say coverage of environment news in mass media, right? So what do you mean by mass media? Mass media can be newspapers, daily papers, magazines, television, radio, cinema, internet. Okay. So you have to be very specific. In even among newspapers, you have English newspapers, Telugu newspapers, or even other language newspapers. So your topic, you have to be very specific about the terms you use in your topic, right? Similarly, the other term, for example, if you say education, news means which education? Overall education, primary education, high school, intermediate, degree, PG, okay, medical education, engineering education, pharma, right, like that. So you have to be very specific. You can also take entire education, but the limitations are your time or something like that. Okay. So before taking any topic, you have to be very clear about the topic, and the words you use, they must be very specific, right? So that is the way to take a topic for your project report, right? So next question is, so next decision. So what we call objectives, why you are doing this specific project, specific study. So at least you must have 4 to 5 objectives. So for example, if you are doing a content analysis study on environment news, let us say, okay. So your first objective may be, what is the space given in particular newspaper? Let us say Hindu or Chronicle or Times of India, right? So what do you do? for this objective, what we do is, what is this total news space? What is total news space? If you take newspapers, there are 16, let us say 16 pages, right? Out of 16 pages, there will be some news related content. What is the other related content in newspaper? In newspapers, there are news. What is the other content? What is the other portion?
Political news, economic news,
News. Within news. News, what is the other one? Advertisements.
and advertisement will be there.
Right? So you will see news, advertisements. Okay. So first what you do, you decide, you measure what is the space given to news, what is the space given to advertisements overall. So let us say 60% are advertisements, only 40% is news. So first objective may be, what is the overall news percentage in Times of India, Deccan Chronicle? You will say, you will measure 60%. Second is, what is the space given to environment news within the news? So in that, again, that particular 60%, you will measure environment news. So you may find 5%. Okay. So this is second object. What you say? This X newspapers gives 5% to environment news, right? So third is what you have to do, objectives. So within environment news, there are several kinds of environment news. Okay, how can you categorize environment news? What are the categories, various categories?
Environment. Pollution of the environment.
This is overall. What are the sources of pollution?
Like vehicles, transport.
Okay, right.
Automobile pollution.
So that is
sound pollution,
right.
Air pollution, water.
Right. What you do is, one is industrial pollution, vehicular pollution, sound pollution, okay, and very groundwater pollution. So these are various categories. So in content analysis, what you have to do is, you have to categorize news into separate entities, right? So if it is environment, what do we do? Industrial pollution, noise pollution, vehicular pollution, domestic pollution, okay, plastic. These are all categories. So third, what you do is, within environment, which environmental problem is given how much space. Okay. So in content analysis, categorization of your topic is very important. So I think you have understood how to categorize environment news. How do you categorize health news? If you are doing a study on education news, for example. So what are the various categories in education? Just now
how much space is given total, what is the total newspaper space in that advertisement space, in that education news space,
that's
and
over.
then
Okay,
in that what kind of education?
Categories. What are the various categories of education news?
Health education.
Okay.
Economic education. And
that is subject, but
primary school, secondary school.
Right. No, for example, it is okay.
And women education.
Class wise, that is okay. You said economic education. So do you have economic education? Specifically, there is education called economic education.
Money management.
You have medical education, agriculture, right? Engineering, pharmaceutical.
Yes.
Okay. So like that, it depends upon your purpose. So you can categorize education like that. Similarly, agriculture. Okay. Agriculture, horticulture, okay, sericulture, right, like that, right?
Yes.
Health also same. Health, maybe systems, right? Health systems are there, right? Allopathic,
Yeah.
homeopathic, like that, nature, right?
Ayurvedic.
So, or even disease-wise also you can
Yeah.
categorize.
Cardiovascular.
You can categorize disease-wise also. For example,
Renal.
you can also do a study on content analysis of women health issues. Okay. So you are doing, what are you doing? You are taking health related issues specifically for women only. So how they are covered, right? So in content analysis, what you can do, third step is you have to categorize the news or the topic like this. Okay. For example, if you take political parties, so what we can do party wise, we can do party wise.
BJP,
Okay.
Congress,
So
TDP.
third objective is over. Third objective, what is this third objective now?
Categorization.
Space given to different categories of environment news, health news, something like that. Okay. So next maybe another objective maybe you can also categorize news based on location. So what is location? Geographical categories. What can be geographical categories? News geography.
According to the environment also.
No, geography means location means
Mega.
international news, national news, okay,
And local news.
local news. So you can also categorize these news items into 3, 4. So whether they are talking more about international, not talking about local issues, right? Okay. So like this, you can, based on your understanding, based on the nature of the topic. For example, if you take education, engineering education, you can also categorize engineering education based on who is offering. That is about government colleges and private colleges. You can also categorize. So whether they are talking more about government colleges or private colleges. So, okay, like this we can go on categorizing and you will calculate, right? So have you got an idea how to go about content analysis?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it clear? So, okay, right. Now
Yes, sir.
you will take a scale, you will measure space. So you have some tables and you have some results. You will say, if you are comparing two newspapers, X newspaper gave more, Y newspaper gave less, something like that. Or for example, if you are taking only one newspaper, you can say only 2%, 3%. So what is the significance? What is the importance? Okay, you have done a study. So how do you interpret it?
Depending upon the data what we have got.
Okay. So after this measurement, after you got some figures, right? So those figures, what you do is you will compare with the outside world. Okay, what is the outside world? We have some scientific results. Maybe in Hyderabad, Telangana, all over the world. So, for example, if major source of pollution is from urban wastage, let us say in Hyderabad, there is a number one source of pollution is urban wastage. So where do we get this information? Urban wastage, major source of pollution?
Media, sir.
Huh?
Media.
No, not media. Maybe, okay, media, you will see it. What is the source? Who gives that information?
Municipal.
There are pollution control boards. Okay. There are some other national, international, state level agencies. They will periodically conduct some studies. Okay. Right? For example, health related problems. Where do you get that information?
Is of health bulletin, something like that.
Yes, this government of India and some other maybe research agencies.
Yes.
They will periodically conduct certain research. Okay.
Yes.
Health related research, central government conducts every 6 months, 2 years, something like that. So you have statistics.
WHO also, sir. World
Even
Health.
WHO, national, international level, right? So you will have several research reports. So you will compare the research reports with your content analysis, whether there is any relationship. For example, so major source of pollution in urban cities is urban wastage, but newspapers are not giving similar. That means majority, the major portion of the news are something else, right? For example, in around Hyderabad, there are some pharmaceutical companies. Okay. So there is a lot of pollution from pharmaceutical industries. But newspapers are not talking about that. They are talking about only plastic, something like that. Okay. So after these figures, after you measure it, after you prepare tables, how do we interpret that information data you have gathered is you have to compare with the research reports. That is reality. That is what we call social reality. Okay. Similarly, health related issues, for example. So, there are several associations are there. Okay. Cardiologist associations. Okay. Gynecologist associations. So they will also conduct some studies, release those results. So you will compare that results with that one. Okay. Or sometimes what we say is we compare government claim with the, so government says no, for example, Telangana government is saying that, we are spending a lot of money on education. Okay. So, but actually how much they are spending, whether newspapers are really talking about that issues. Okay. So actually, the newspapers, I think you must have understood, they have their own interest. They have their own business interest or some other interests, right? So why they write like that? You can come to a conclusion, right? For example, if there is a newspaper, they have a pharmaceutical industry. So when it comes to pollution from pharmaceutical industry, that newspaper may not write about that pharmaceutical industry. right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
this is how you interpret content analysis results, right? It is not just a number. To know this newspaper gave like this newspaper like that is not the real research. You have to compare. You have to say the reality is this. That is, most of the women-related health issues are these, but newspapers are not talking about this. Okay. So
Sir, one question, sir.
Right.
Sir, if we compare about our journalists and our newspapers wrongly, it will not good, looks good, no, sir?
No, pardon, you compare?
If we are comparing that some newspaper is not writing about pharmaceutical pollution like that, so we are blaming our own fraternity, no?
No, not, they are not our fraternity. You are saying based on evidence. That
Yes,
is
sir.
there. It is not blaming. Blaming means it is not based on
Evidence.
Evidence. Okay. So what you are saying, it is a reality. That is what is the reality. Okay.
They may get hurted, no, sir.
No. We are not bothered as a researcher. You are not. Actually, there are two issues. One is theoretical. One is your practical level. Okay. So here the purpose of project report is to make you aware of the steps involved in research. How to do research. Okay.
Research.
Yeah. So this is there is no problem. Actually, you need not worry about it. Even ethically also, that is not wrong. There are issues, ethical issues are there. Okay. So we are not, if you are doing a study, survey research, based on that survey research, if your respondents, you know who are respondents? Respondents means those who give information for a research, right? So if the respondents are at risk, if they may lose their job, they may be physically attacked, okay? So then we may have to consider whether it is right or wrong. But when it comes to newspapers, we are not blaming. It is based on evidence. It is what is there in newspaper. You are not saying anything. Actually, you should know one thing. Newspapers know it. They sometimes they know it, deliberately know it. For example, when it comes to suicides, recently, just maybe last week, just 2-3 days ago, there was a suicide in Basarat IIIT, right? Have you read it?
Yes, sir. Number of medicos are doing suicide.
So medicos in government colleges and private colleges.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you compare, the newspapers write more about government colleges, not about private colleges. If something goes wrong in government hospital, newspapers write more about it.
Yes. Private colleges, they maintain, sir. They anyhow maintain.
Because there are, one is private colleges give advertisements to newspapers. So advertisements are major source of revenue for newspapers. Okay.
Yes.
Similarly, any achievement, for example, an operation, a new type of operation is performed in government hospital and private hospital. So here, the news publicity depends upon, one is private versus government, another is their what is called public relations exercise. So private hospitals, they have public relations officers specifically for that. Government hospitals never have a public relations officer. So these are the maybe in your conclusions. So you can write all these things. So have you got any idea about content analysis, how to do it? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So it is.
We have understood, sir.
Nearly half an hour we have discussed about it. So are you able to get an idea what is content analysis?
Yes, sir.
Okay then. So next step is what is called sampling. Okay, we have decided about topic. We have also categorized news. Okay, various classification of news, right? So that is the second step we have to do based on our objectives. Next, we have to decide about from which newspapers we have to take information. That means how many days of newspapers we have to study, right? So the selection of issues means one day newspaper is one issue, right? So very, very important. For example, if you are doing a study on education news, okay? So what you will do is education news, you will take June, July months. You will measure it. You will get some results. What you say, newspapers are giving 30% space in Hyderabad, local pages, 30% space is given to education. That is very good sign. Okay. So even within, so is it right? Is it the case with the entire year? So you have taken 2 months, you are generalizing 1 year. For example, today you have how many of you are attending now? Three.
Three members.
3 members. 3 members, you are actively participating, discussing, asking questions. So there are 200 students are there. So can I say that students, online students are very active, very good in asking questions, interactive. So can we conclude like that? MA journalism students are very active, participative. Can we say?
No, sir.
Why?
Because only 3 members are participating.
Right.
The sample size is very light.
Based on just 3 candidates, we can't come to a conclusion that this is the case with the entire class. Okay. Similarly, when you have done a study on education news, taking June and July, you can't come to a conclusion. So there is another angle to it. What is that? Because in June, schools reopening starts. July also, this reopening, classes, admissions, books. So these 2 months are very extraordinary for education related news. So based on these 2 months, you can't say the entire year is like this. Similarly, agriculture news. So June, July, it is a peculiar months for agriculture, right? So like this, for example, health related issues, in maybe winter season, rainy season, there will be a lot of health issues. So if you take only those 2 months, you will get a different picture, right? So for that purpose, what we have to do is, we have to take entire year for your study. This is only for what I am saying is, this is for theoretical. You have to understand how to take a sample, right? So entire year, 365 days. So is it necessary to take 365 days? Can you take 365 days?
Yes, sir, it is okay.
365 days. There are two issues. One is time problem. 365 is very cumbersome exercise, right? And moreover,
Yes.
you need not take 365 days. Okay. Right? So what we do is, we take a small portion of 365 days and analyze the content and come to a conclusion, right? So what we do is, we take 1 day in each week. So there are 52 days. In 52 days, you take 52 issues. That is 52 days of newspaper, right? So based on those results, you can say this is the coverage of particular issue in newspapers, because you have taken all the weeks, right?
Sir.
Is it understood?
Yes, sir.
And there is another angle to it. For example, what happens? For example, if you take 52 Mondays or 52 Sundays, the content may be different. On Sunday, for example, if you take Sundays, 52, what is the specialty of Sunday?
Sunday, some entertainment news will be more and tenders will be more.
That means
Advertisements also more, sir.
there will be more advertisements, less news. So, for example, based
Yes,
on
sir.
52 Sundays, you can't say this is the issue. So that is why what we do is, even in 52 days, we see that all the days are represented. That is, equal number of Mondays, equal number of Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays. Okay. So if you do that, you know, there, for example, in some newspapers on particular day, there will be a page on health news. Health page may be there, right? Okay. So this is how you take, you select sample, right? So here you have to, next step is, you have to define what is called operational definition, what we call operational definition. That means what is meant by education news. Okay. Primary news, secondary news, you have to define it. And also you have to decide, for example, every newspaper has this competitive exam pages, right? So can you say this competitive exam pages are education news? Hello?
Yeah, they are intimating the dates and all now, sir. It is.
No, okay. That is, first you have to say some, for some other study, that may not be relevant, right?
Yeah.
Based on your topic, based on your objectives. So you have to decide even before measuring whether you want to include competitive pages or not. Okay. So for example, you are comparing education news about suicides. coverage of student suicides in newspapers. Okay. So we are concerned about reasons why they have committed suicide, whether they are studying in private college or government college. So for this kind of topic, that those competitive exam pages may not be relevant. That you have to decide, you have to justify. So what you have to understand is, before taking a scale, before measuring news, you have to define what you are including, what you are excluding, right? Is it okay? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Inclusion criteria and exclusion criteria we have to write.
You have to explain why you have taken this news, this page, why you have not taken these pages. Okay. So in research, earlier I told you, it must be very specific. Okay. So again, I will repeat what example I gave you about Hyderabad for this operational definition. Can anybody tell me? I have given an example about Hyderabad. In research, you have to define very specifically about the terms you use. Hyderabad means what?
The geographical area of Hyderabad, sir. The boundaries.
No. Okay. No. For example, in research, you say
Climatic conditions, sir.
no. Reader, Hyderabad readership survey in Hyderabad. And that means your title says Hyderabad. But when you are distributing your questionnaire, when you are taking your data information, you will get a doubt that Hyderabad means what? Is it postal Hyderabad? Is it GHMC Hyderabad? Is it revenue? Collect revenue. What is the revenue jurisdiction?
Comes under which collectorate?
Right. Hyderabad means you have 3 collectorates. Rangareddy collector, some part. Malkajgiri, some part. Medak also comes. Okay, Sangareddy. So you have to define what you say. For the purpose of the study, Hyderabad citizen means, Hyderabad reader means under those who live in jurisdiction of Hyderabad collectorate, under the jurisdiction of GHMC, right? Yes. So similarly, for newspapers also, you have to decide which page you are taking, which page you are not taking. Okay, whether you are taking Hyderabad edition, Telangana edition. Okay, there are changes in Hyderabad edition, in not in your title of the topic, but inside your report, you have to specifically mention which newspaper you have taken, whom you have contacted. Okay. Similarly, reader means who is the reader, newspaper reader. He may be reading a newspaper 10 days in a year. Somebody may reading newspaper at least 5 days a week. There may be people who are reading daily. Okay. So you have to specifically mention, you have to decide whom you are contacting. So, there is readership surveys, Have you heard IRS? IRS.
IRS, Indian Railway Services.
No.
IRS. Don't know, sir.
IRS.
IRS. It's a services, sir. Is it services?
There is, when I am talking about it, it is about media. It is called
Media.
Indian
IRS,
Readership
okay.
Survey. Indian Readership Survey. Okay.
Okay.
So Media Research Users Council, there is one organization. They conduct media readership surveys twice a year. Every 6 months, they conduct research, and they will find out who is reading which newspaper, how much time they are spending, what is their age, is it Hyderabad or districts? Okay. So this kind of information is useful for what? Hello?
To know the likes and dislikes of the people.
Not likes and dislikes, how much time they are spending, what is their age, what is their income. Okay? Like that.
Socio-demographic data.
Right. Every 6 months. So how do they use it? Why conduct this survey, readership survey? What is the purpose?
To know the people's opinion and interests and disinterests.
Okay, that's okay. But what is the use of that IRS results, readership survey?
About the progress
to get
of
the data, how many
based on these results, newspapers get advertisements. Okay. So newspapers get advertisement based on how many readers are reading overall. Okay. So which is the largest newspaper in India? Which newspaper has readers with more income?
Sir, is it Hindu,
more
sir?
Income, more advertisements.
Okay.
Hyderabad. If Hyderabad readers are there, there are more Hyderabad readers. So newspapers will get more advertisements. Old age people are reading a newspaper. There is no use because they won't spend money. If youngsters are reading a newspaper, so newspapers will get advertisements. Okay. So executives, those who have high-end cars, they will get more advertisements like that. Okay. So in this IRS, they go to some readers, they will ask some questions. So how do they identify, as I said earlier, for example, they ask you, everybody reads a newspaper, because in Hyderabad, at least once in a year, they may read a newspaper. So a person reads newspaper at least only 10 times in a year. And that IRS people get information from that person. Is it a reliable information?
No, sir.
So how do we do? What do we do? So for their definition of reader is, the person must have read newspaper yesterday. Okay. So they will come to you, they will ask you, have you read yesterdayEenadu paper yesterday? If you say yes, they will give you questionnaire. Okay. So this is how you have to specifically define who is a reader, what is a newspaper, English, Telugu. You know, in Hyderabad, now we don't have, I don't know. For example, in Hyderabad, in newspapers, there are two kinds of newspapers. Hard copy, web editions, only papers which have only web edition. Right? There are, in Hyderabad, they are not, but in other places, there are evening papers are there. So whether you are taking morning paper or evening paper, Hyderabad edition or district edition. Okay. So like that, you have to specifically mention about your all sample like that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So tell me now, if anybody wants to do a content study, okay. So what are the steps involved in it?
First, we have to take the topic, sir.
Okay.
Decide the topic.
Right.
Then we have to, that topic, depending upon the topic actually in which newspaper we are or which channel we are going to conduct.
Okay, objectives.
And
then we have to decide about objectives.
yeah, objectives, sir. And in objectives, we have to go from broader to the specific, sir.
Right.
Up to categorization of our objective.
Okay.
And after that, we have to find out the timings, which duration you are going to conduct.
Okay. Right.
And which area and which location or geographic jurisdiction or such kind. Then we have to get the data. Then the results will come. That results we have to compare with the research results. Then we come to the
not research. That is what is the reality outside. Not research. That is reliable means
reality, social reality, and
media reality. What is the media?
Reality, media reality, and social.
So sometimes
we have
actually why we do content analysis is we also compare the changes over a period of time. For example, we can also do a study similar. For example, 5 years ago, somebody has done a study. Same study can be repeated now. And we will compare how the newspaper's coverage is changing. Okay? So there are two types of content analysis. One is quantitative, another is qualitative. So at your stage, quantitative is okay. So in qualitative, what we do is, it is not just numbers. Okay. So we also do look at, for example,
most preferable, least preferable, some preferable, like that.
That is about survey research. In content analysis,
most
also,
desirable.
A kind of, for example, news, crime news, for example. So if you take crime news, the quality of any news item, straight news item, depends on one of the factors. You have to quote as many people as possible, right? You know what is quote?
Quote.
Quote means the source. You have to take information from as many sources as possible. Okay. So, for example, coverage, you see, for example, actually, if you take Varta and Inadu. Okay. So let us take, we are comparing Varta and Inadu. And percentages are same. Let us assume that percentage are same. Okay. So what else can we compare? Overall quantity percentage is same. No, that 60%, 40%,
We will compare
30%.
quality,
Like,
sir. Quality.
how do you define quality?
We will take some norms and whether they are following or
Where
not.
do you get those norms?
We will compare with other standard newspapers.
No, not standard newspapers. In textbooks, you will have
Okay, sir. Yeah.
standards. Know how to write a news item.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to quote. Coverage is whether comprehensive or not. For example, as I said, if you compare Varta news and Eenadu news, Eenadu will give same angles, same information in very brief manner. Varta may give unnecessary information. Repetition may be there, right? So like that, we have certain yardsticks for quality news. One is to get information from as many sources as possible. Okay. Another is, for example, in Manipur, there is some problem. Okay. In Manipur, there is some problem. So how do you define quality in Manipur news items? Hello?
Regarding robbery, sir, whether they have given space to that or not.
Whether
They have given space to that robbery thing or not, and they are not reporting, under-reporting.
victims, whether
They are
they are
hiding the
talking
information.
first actually whether they are talking to victims or they are writing whatever police says, whatever ruling party leader says, politician says. So when we say a comprehensive report means there will be information from police, information from victim, information from eyewitness, information from government, information from opposition, like that. Okay. So for example, if the newspaper takes information only from opposition leader, that is also not proper. If the newspaper takes information from only government source, that is also not proper. Okay. So if there is a clash between two groups in Hyderabad, okay. So when you are writing a news item, you have to take information from police, two groups, eyewitnesses. Okay. So it is not just quantity. We can also do a content analysis study qualitatively. Okay. So, for example, newspaper gives news based on only press release, only press releases. So, what is a press release? Whoever wants to anything, that is press release. There will be, it is the version of organization only, right? So, this is qualitative aspect of a news item. This can also be done, right? So now we go back to survey, right? Last week, I don't know whether any one of you attended last week class. Hello?
Good morning. Tell me.
Last week.
Last week, I didn't.
So none of you attended, right? So there is another method of doing research that is survey research.
Yeah.
So we do survey research to get information from people. Okay, what information, okay, what they are thinking, what is their opinion, what is their background. Okay. So this is
Yes,
what
sir.
we call survey research. So in media research, what we do is we can do a study on readers or television viewers, radio listeners, internet users. So what are they reading? How much time they are spending? Which news are they are reading? Overall, which media they are using? What is the time spent? What is their opinion? If you want to take, for example, one newspaper, whether they are happy with the coverage, what is why they are reading? Is it the news, the language is very good, or the newspaper comes early in the morning, okay, or is it cheaper? Why they are reading? To improve their English language, to know something else, okay? So these are all what we call survey research. So survey research also, as I said earlier, you have to be very specific about your topic, right? Next, we will decide about objectives.
Yeah.
So first, you have objectives. Then you have to prepare a questionnaire, right? What is a questionnaire?
Pardon?
What is a questionnaire?
Hello. Questionnaire.
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 So none of you read it in methodology. Third semester or fourth semester, you have not heard about it. Questionnaire.
We heard, sir. Questionnaire, open-ended questions will be there, closed-ended questions will be there. We can give the questionnaire to the people.
What is a questionnaire?
They can answer by themselves.
Okay.
It includes all the required information questions regarding.
A list of questions to get relevant information for a research. Yeah. Okay.
Relevant.
So after deciding topic, after finalizing the objectives, you will prepare a questionnaire. Okay. So how do you?
Yes, sir.
How do you include questions in a questionnaire? What is the basis?
Depending upon our topic, sir.
Depending upon our objectives. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So again, we will have 4 or 5 objectives. So how much time they are spending? There is an objective. Let us assume that there is an objective that which media the respondents are using. Okay. So what will be the question for this objective?
Hello.
Hello. Why do you use YouTube? Why do you watch YouTube? This is the why housewives watch YouTube. This is the objective. To find out the reasons for watching YouTube. This is the objective. What will be the questions in a questionnaire? How do we get that information?
Why do you use watch YouTube, sir? For that question, sir, what questions we have to ask? Hello. Is it audible?
What questions do you ask for this kind of objective? Hello? Our objective is to find out the reasons for watching YouTube by housewives. This is the objective. We have to find out answers for this objective, research objective. Okay. So what are the questions you ask the housewives to get information? No answer? Hello? Hello? No guess, right? Okay. So where do we get these ideas? Tell me, where do, for example, you are not able to decide, but where do we get ideas? You know what question to ask? How do we get? What is the source?
In between signal is not there.
Huh?
Hello.
Yes.
These questions, do we have to form, sir, or whether do we have a already prepared questionnaire with us?
No, you have to prepare a questionnaire.
We ourselves have to prepare,
yes,
sir.
yes.
I myself have to.
Yes, depending upon your objectives.
Objectives. Okay.
No, these questions change from topic to topic because objective of the question research is different. For example, somebody may take a topic relating to farmers. Use of YouTube by farmers. Okay. So
yes,
one of the objective is why to find out the reasons for farmers using YouTube. So what can be the question?
yes, sir.
How do you frame the question? Okay. So this is where review of literature. Have you heard review of literature?
Yes, sir. Review of literature, we know, sir.
What is review of literature?
From that also, we will get a few questions, no, sir.
Not
Previously,
only that also,
the research was...
majority of the ideas, majority of the design, that is how you prepare questionnaire, how you prepare objectives, how you interpret your results, get from review of literature. So in review of literature, you will have similar questions, similar studies. There may be some changes. There may be new topics. For example, somebody said, ChatGPT is not there earlier. But you know, there are television is there, internet is there, smartphones are there. So based on those questions, based on the nature of your new topic, that is ChatGPT, you will change some questions. Okay. So questionnaire preparation, you have to do based on your objectives.
Objectives.
Then next step is to distribute this questionnaire to your respondents. Again, here comes
okay, sir.
The sampling, same sampling. So you can't distribute your questionnaire to entire Hyderabad, right? So yes, that is why what we do is at your MA level, you will confine yourself to a particular area, some colony, some school,
yes, sir,
college, right? So you take small colony or area, Khairatabad, or one village. Okay. So again, there the sampling comes, right? even you choosing your respondents. That is, who is the respondent? Respondent is a person who gives information related to your research. So even that respondent also, for example, you know, in particular area, one particular line in particular, you will find in one lane, there will be all Muslims. For example, if you take that particular lane, your results may be different. In one particular lane, there may be in one area, there may be only one type of employees, right? Okay.
Yes.
So that is why what we do is we take sample in such a way that our different background people are included. That is what we call some random sampling, systematic random sampling like that. Okay. So when you take the information, general people, when it comes to general people, there should be at least equal number of men and women of all ages. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
if it is school, okay, school we don't discriminate. Even school also, for example, we have to see that all classes are represented. When you are saying high school, if you are taking 8th, 9th, 10th, so you have to see that 8th, 9th, 10th students are included. If you take only 10th students, the result may be something different. Okay?
Yeah.
So sampling is also very important. And you know, if you go back to your methodology, this communication research courses, you have certain rules to prepare questionnaire. So how do we prepare questionnaires? What to ask, what not to ask, how to ask. Okay. So go through those, and you will also get some questionnaires in website, internet. Maybe you have to change according to your needs, right? For example, there is a questionnaire, television viewing, prepared about 5 years ago. Today, can we use it as it is, or do we need to have some changes? If there are
We need to have some changes.
What are the changes required today compared to 2-3 years ago? Television viewing
Previously, Previously, they used to watch television, sir. Now they are seeing in the mobiles, internet.
Important, important development you have missed. What is the important development during the last 2-3 years?
Internet connection.
2-3 years ago, it was not there. Today we have it. What is that?
Internet. Internet.
2-3 years ago, internet was there.
Mobile. We are seeing TV in mobiles, sir, now.
Mobile phones were also there 3 years ago.
Uncle.
OTT.
The OTT is this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, if you find any questionnaire,
Over the top.
you have to make changes according to the present situation, according to your topic. Okay.
Yeah.
So earlier people might not use Zoom, now they are using Zoom, right?
Yes, sir.
And somebody said, you know, internet, when it comes to smartphone, now we have chat GPT, why they are using like that. So there will be questionnaires, there will be studies similar to your study. There may be studies earlier in some other place.
Yes.
So you can take information, adapt that questionnaire. You have to make some changes.
Yes,
okay?
sir.
To suit your
Topic
research
and objectives.
objectives.
Yeah.
So the questions, what questions do you have? The questions you will have in a questionnaire are related to objectives only. Okay. So
Yes,
we
sir.
get information
Yeah.
for these objectives only from questions in the questionnaire. So
Yes,
if they
sir.
are not relevant, there is no place for questions in the questionnaire. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is it right?
Yes, sir.
So anything else? I think, I don't know, somebody must be waiting. So send your, prepare your 1 or 2 topics and send it to us. We will finalize. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So any other question? Just one question. Any other?
No, sir. We have understood a lot today's
Okay,
class.
right. Thank you. Right. Okay.
Thank you, sir.